Have you ever found yourself wondering what really separates people who achieve, incredible success, great wealth, from those who just kind of dream about it?
Yeah, like, is there some hidden trick or a secret, maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a timeless secret. Or maybe even a practical formula that just unlocks the door, turning desires into, well, reality.
hmm
Today, on the deep dive, we're really going to get into that. We're embarking on this journey to try and uncover it.
And it's not, like you said, it's not magical thinking we're talking about here.
No, definitely not. It's about specific, actionable knowledge. Stuff that's really rooted in the practical experiences of, well, some of history's most successful people.
Real world stuff.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this powerful, often unspoken formula for turning your desires into reality.
And we're drawing insights from this really unique mix of historical accounts, philosophical principles.
Yeah, get ready for a shortcut, basically, to being really well informed about a philosophy that could genuinely transform how you approach, well, any goal you set for yourself.
Hmm?
Okay, so let's unpack this right away. Our sources, they highlight that the core of this whole philosophy, it revolves around a subtle secret to wealth.
Uh,
And here's the interesting part, the kicker. It's explicitly stated this secret, you can't buy it, not with money.
Intriguing. So how do you get it?
It's something you acquire through a particular kind of readiness.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be super clear from the start, this secret, it isn't like one single word or some magic concept.
Right.
It's the entire system, this whole interconnected web of principles we're about to explore. That's the real secret.
And what's really insightful there is that this readiness, it's not about, hitting the books or academic stuff.
I'm not school smarts.
No, exactly. It's more like a mental, maybe even spiritual preparedness. Being in a state where you can actually perceive and then, crucially, apply the underlying principles.
So it suggests that knowledge, just knowing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, knowledge alone is only potential power. That's the key takeaway. It has to be understood, it has to be applied, and with a very specific mindset. Only then does it become actual, like, transformative power.
And we see this, right? We see it play out in the lives of these big figures, like Andrew Carnegie, who famously passed this, well, unnamed formula on to a young guy.
Mm-hmm. And people like Charles Schwab.
Yeah, business titans. And Thomas Edison, the inventor. They all apparently use this comprehensive secret, this whole system, to build, huge fortunes.
But the sources strongly suggest it wasn't just about the money, was it?
No, that's a great point. It was like they were personally transformed by it. They became profoundly different people. Okay, so if we're talking about achieving things, big things, where does it all start?
Yeah, what's step one?
Our sources are incredibly clear on this. It starts with a burning desire.
A burning desire, not just any desire.
Right. Not just a casual wish.
Mm.
It's described as this really potent thought, or maybe a mindset, that when you couple it with determination, unwavering persistence,
Mm.
it literally clears the path.
Paves the way to achievement, to wealth.
Exactly.
That's such a crucial distinction, though. What is the difference between just, casually wishing for something like, oh, I wish I had a new car, versus this burning desire?
Right.
It's got to be intense, like an almost obsessive drive, an all-consuming commitment. That's the difference between just a fleeting interest that kind of vanishes when things get tough.
Yeah, the first obstacle.
Right. Versus a deep commitment that just endures no matter what adversity comes your way.
Yeah.
The source material really hammers this home. What the human mind can conceive and genuinely believe it can achieve.
Wow. It's powerful.
It is.
And to really make this concrete, let's dive into this amazing story. Edwin C. Barnes.
Yes. Barnes.
Imagine this guy. Absolutely no money, zero connections. And honestly looked pretty rough, like a tramp when he first showed up at Thomas Edison's lab.
Didn't look the part at all.
Not even close. But what he did have was this unshakable desire. He wanted to become Edison's business partner, not just work for him.
A partner. That's a huge goal.
Huge. And his pursuit was just relentless.
And what's fascinating about Barnes, about his internal resolve, our sources explicitly say he never said to himself, well, maybe I should change my mind and get a job as a salesperson.
He didn't waver.
Not for a second. His mind was just locked onto that ultimate goal, with partner with Edison, even if it took him like the rest of his life.
Oh.
He really shows how deep that burning desire can actually root itself inside you. And he took what looked like a really small opportunity, right? Selling Edison's new dictating machine.
Yeah, something others might have just seen as a temporary gig.
Exactly. But Barnes meticulously turned it into his grand partnership. Why? Because he saw the possibility where others just saw a simple task.
It really highlights how opportunities, they often show up in disguise, don't they?
Absolutely. Specifically to test your persistence. Are you going to stick with it?
And speaking of persistence,
Hmm.
man, digging into our sources brought up another incredible story. The gold miner. Are you Darby's uncle?
Oh, the 90-cent lesson, or rather the 90-centimeter lesson, really.
Right. So the story goes he's digging for gold, hits this rich vein, jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
But then suddenly, poof, the gold just seems to vanish.
The vein disappeared. Happens in mining.
Yeah. And he got discouraged. Temporary setback, right?
Oh.
But he gave up. Sold all his equipment for basically nothing.
And the punchline.
He learned later the guy who bought the equipment brought in an expert, a geologist or someone,
Uh-huh.
and the gold vein. It was literally just 3 feet 90 centimeters away from where he stopped digging.
Oh, painful. He abandoned a massive fortune inches away. And if we connect that back, to the bigger picture, that mining lesson, it really stuck with Darby.
I bet it did.
He realized that temporary defeat, it's not final failure. Not even close.
It's often a sign.
Exactly. He learned that success is just right around the corner, waiting for you to just push through with that unwavering resolve.
It really highlights how important it is to maybe consult experts when you hit a wall, right?
Mm.
Don't just give up.
Absolutely. Don't get up prematurely. And Darby himself, he took that lesson to heart, applied it later in his own sales career, famously refused to take no for an answer.
And just to wrap up this whole idea of persistence, there's that lovely little story, the 50-cent lesson.
Ah, the little girl and her uncle.
Yeah, this gruff uncle, right? But this little girl, she had this quiet, unyielding determination. She needed 50 cents from him for her mother.
And he was having none of it.
Nope. Threats, dismissals. He even slammed a stick down, apparently.
Yeah.
But none of it fazed her.
She just stood there, quietly persistent.
Exactly. And her quiet, persistent determination,
Yeah.
it won him over in the end. He gave her the money.
Such a simple story, but it perfectly illustrates willpower triumphing over opposition.
It really does.
And what's truly insightful is that Mr. Darby, the same guy from the gold mining story, he saw that little girl's actions later and recognized the exact same principle, that quiet, don't take no for an answer persistence. He applied it to his own life, especially in sales. Taught him to just keep going, realizing that many buyers would eventually say yes if he just persisted with that burning desire.
So what does this all boil down to for you listening right now? This deep dive really suggests that mastering persistence, it can genuinely transform pretty much any challenge in your life into a stepping stone.
Just by refusing to give up too soon. Simple, but not easy.
Okay, so now you've got the burning desire, you've got this iron will to persist. What's next?
Where do you channel that energy?
Exactly. Our sources don't just leave us hanging. They actually lay out a core, actionable, 6-step formula.
A blueprint.
Yeah, a blueprint for turning that abstract desire into concrete wealth. But really, achieving any goal. This method was even apparently validated by Thomas Edison himself.
Right. And these steps, they're precise. They're crucial. Not just like a checklist you tick off. No, it's more about cultivating the right mental attitude. Using consistent self-suggestion or auto-suggestion to prepare your subconscious mind to actually act on your desires. Let's walk through them.
Okay, step 1.
First, you must name the precise sum of money you desire. Not just, I want to be rich, or a lot of money.
Be specific.
Down to the penny, ideally, an exact figure.
Got it. Step 2.
Second, clearly define what you intend to give in return for this money. It's not about getting something for nothing. Wealth comes from a fair exchange. What value will you provide?
Makes sense. Okay, third.
Third, establish a definite date, a specific deadline by which you intend to possess the money.
Creates urgency.
Exactly. Gives your subconscious a target to aim for.
Number 4.
Fourth, create a clear, practical plan for achieving your desire. And here's the key part. Start immediately.
Don't wait.
Don't wait until you feel perfectly ready. Just taking that first step is vital.
Okay. Step 5.
Fifth, write it all down, the exact amount, the deadline, what you'll give in return, and your detailed plan. Put it in a concise, powerful statement.
Makes it tangible.
Right. Takes it out of your head and puts it onto paper.
And finally, number 6.
And finally, maybe the most important step, read your written statement aloud twice daily. Once when you wake up, once before you go to sleep.
Just read it.
No, not just read it. As you read, and this is absolutely vital, you must see and feel yourself already possessing the money.
Ah, the visualization.
Yes, it's not just reciting words. It's about deeply impressing your subconscious mind with your goal. making it a vivid reality in your inner world first.
That last step,
Yeah.
the visualization, the emotional connection, that feels absolutely critical.
It is. It's about creating an internal reality so compelling that your actions, your behaviors, they just naturally start to align with it.
Yeah.
And again, the emphasis isn't on some kind of magic. It's about cultivating a specific mental attitude through that consistent auto-suggestion.
Preparing the subconscious.
Exactly. Preparing the subconscious mind to act on your desires. Turning that mere potential we talked about earlier
Right.
into actualized power. It's how thoughts, especially thoughts mixed with strong emotion, like faith or belief, take root and then lead to their physical equivalents.
This whole thing makes me wonder, though, is knowledge truly power on its own? We hear that phrase all the time, knowledge is power.
Yeah, it's a common saying.
But our sources, they kind of challenge that, don't they? Suggesting it's maybe not quite that simple.
That's a really intriguing point they make. The clarification is this. Knowledge is only potential power.
Okay.
Yeah. It only becomes actual power when it's organized into definite plans of action.
Plan again.
The plan again, and directed toward a definite end. Otherwise, it just sits there, right? Inert. Like a massive library full of books nobody ever opens.
And nobody exemplified this better, according to the sources, than Henry Ford.
Ah, the Ford story. Classic.
Yeah, this famous court story where these lawyers were trying to paint Ford as, ignorant because he didn't personally know the answer to every technical question.
Trying to trip him up.
Right. And Ford's response was just brilliant. He basically said, look, he had a row of push buttons on his desk.
Mm-hmm.
And by pressing the right button, he could summon experts, people who did have the specialized knowledge he needed instantly.
Huh. Perfect answer.
Isn't it?
And the lesson there, it's profound. True intelligence, Ford implied, isn't about memorizing every fact under the sun.
Not being a walking encyclopedia.
Exactly. It's about knowing where to find the specialized knowledge you need, and critically, knowing how to effectively organize and use the minds of other people to achieve your goals.
Which connects directly to that mastermind idea we'll get to.
Precisely. So for you, the listener, what this really means is you don't have to be the expert in everything to succeed. Not at all.
Okay.
You just need to figure out what specialized knowledge you actually need for your goal and then determine where to get it.
Could be experience, could be formal education.
Or collaborating with others, building your own board of experts, so to speak, even informally.
Okay, here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. Our deep dive now goes into the fascinating, almost kind of mystical mechanics of the mind.
Yeah, the inner workings.
The sources introduce the subconscious mind, not just as like memory storage, but as the receiving station, the part that translates your desires into reality.
And it works best, they say, when thoughts are mixed with emotion, especially faith.
Right?
So the subconscious mind, it's depicted as this fertile ground, like soil. Yeah. And thoughts are the seeds, especially thoughts that are really impressed upon it with strong emotion.
They take root.
They take root, exactly, and they lead to their corresponding physical manifestations. But, and this is important to remember, it's like a double-edged sword.
How so?
Well, both positive and negative thoughts, if they're mixed with strong emotion, can manifest. The subconscious doesn't judge, it doesn't filter, it simply acts on whatever it receives most strongly.
Wow. Okay, so got to be mindful of negative emotions too.
Absolutely. And then what about the brain itself, the physical brain?
Yeah, our sources describe it as this incredibly complex receiving and transmitting station for thought vibrations, like a radio for thoughts.
Mm-hmm. And then they introduce something really potent, the concept of sex transmutation.
Right, which sounds maybe a bit provocative, but how do they explain it?
They position it as potentially the most powerful mental stimulant, something capable of seriously intensifying thoughts and driving incredible creativity and action.
Okay.
Now, it's a nuanced idea. The core concept is that this intense emotional energy, which is often associated with, the fundamental drive for sexual expression,
Fine.
when that energy is properly channeled or transmuted, basically redirected.
Redirected.
Yes. When that powerful drive is consciously focused away from purely physical expression and towards creative or productive endeavors, it ignites the creative imagination.
So it fuels creativity.
Massively. It allows the brain, they suggest, to pick up ideas, inspirations, concepts from what the sources poetically call the universal storehouse of infinite intelligence.
Wow.
This channeling of intense passion or drive, and it could arguably be from any strong emotional source, not just sexual energy, but channeling that into highly focused creative work, that's often behind the major breakthroughs. Inventors, artists, great leaders.
They're tapping into that transmuted energy.
That's the idea, taking that raw, powerful energy and transforming it into a constructive, creative force.
And beyond our normal five senses, the sources talk about this other faculty, the sixth sense, or creative imagination.
Right. It's portrayed as this almost angelic faculty, as you said, something that can warn you of danger or reveal opportunities.
They give you insights that seem to come out of nowhere.
Exactly. Insights beyond ordinary perception, like a flash of intuition, but maybe deeper, more profound. And our sources even share this really intriguing practice, the invisible counselor's concept, as a way to maybe consciously activate this sense.
Invisible counselors, what's that?
Well, Napoleon Hill, who wrote the original source material we're drawing from, he describes how he would regularly hold these imaginary council meetings in his mind.
With who?
With historical figures he admired, like Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, his personal heroes.
Wow. So he just imagined them there.
Yeah, he'd visualize them sitting around a table with him. He'd talk to them out loud sometimes, presenting his problems, seeking their wisdom and guidance, as if they were actually present.
It's quite a technique. Did he think they were really there?
He was clear it started as a visualization, but claimed that over time, the figures took on distinct personalities and offered surprisingly insightful advice. He felt it significantly boosted his intuition and problem-solving skills.
So powerful way to harness that creative imagination.
Exactly. Tapping into that sixth sense through a structured thought experiment, essentially, a profound mental technique.
Okay, building on that idea of, well, getting input from other minds, even imagined ones, let's shift to the power of real collaboration. Our sources introduce this key concept, the mastermind principle.
Crucial concept.
Defined as the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people, but working in a spirit of harmony. That harmony seems key.
Absolutely key for the attainment of a definite purpose.
Right. Definite purpose again.
And what's truly powerful about the mastermind idea is this concept of the third mind.
The third mind.
Yeah. The idea is when two or more minds connect and work together in that spirit of perfect harmony, they create this invisible, intangible force, a kind of collective consciousness. A third mind.
Okay.
And the third mind is actually more powerful, more insightful, more creative than the sum of the individual minds involved.
More than 1 + 1 = 2.
Exactly. Think of it like a symphony orchestra. You have talented individual musicians, right?
Sure.
But when they play together in perfect harmony under a conductor, they create something far grander, far more resonant than any single instrument could ever produce on its own.
Ah, I see. That's the power of the third mind.
That's the essence of it.
And Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest people in history. He famously used this, didn't he?
He did. Our sources directly attribute his incredible success, his vast fortune, to the group of about 50 men he assembled, his mastermind group.
50 people.
Yeah. He meticulously coordinated their knowledge and effort. His power, the sources argue, resided almost entirely in that mastermind alliance, not just in himself.
Wow.
And this principle is presented as being so fundamental that almost every great fortune, every major achievement throughout history can be traced back to its application, whether it was done consciously or unconsciously.
So it allows people to access way more knowledge, creativity.
Influence, resources,
Yeah.
far more than they could ever gather on their own. It's about multiplying your intellectual and strategic power through deliberate, harmonious collaboration.
Okay, so we've heard all this. Desire, persistence, the 6 steps, harnessing your mind, collaborating with others. It sounds like a recipe for success, but this raises an important question. What actually holds people back?
Yeah, if the formula is there, why isn't everyone achieving their biggest goals?
Exactly. What stops them? Our sources identify these really insidious universal enemies of achievement. They call them the 6 ghosts of fear.
The 6 ghosts. Sounds ominous.
It kind of is. They list them as
Okay.
1, the fear of poverty.
Big one.
2, the fear of criticism.
What others think.
3, the fear of ill health.
Worrying about sickness?
4, the fear of loss of love.
Relationships, yeah.
5, the fear of old age.
Getting older.
And finally, 6, the fear of death.
The ultimate fear for many.
Right, these 6 basic fears.
And the sources say these fears, they often operate subconsciously, right? We might not even be fully aware of them.
Exactly. Crippling initiative, destroying ambition, kind of behind the scenes.
And they're described as mental states that can actually be transmitted, like passed from one mind to another.
Yeah, almost like an emotional contagion.
Yeah.
Spreading negativity and doubt.
Wow. And the most destructive among them. Is it the fear of poverty?
That's what the sources argue, yes. The fear of poverty is seen as the most destructive because it leads to all these negative habits: indifference, indecision, doubt, worry,
Overcaution, procrastination.
all that stuff that just kills action. And the sources are really blunt: wealth, money, success.
Yeah.
It won't come to those who are constantly afraid of being poor.
Because that fear paralyzes you. And
Everyone.
these fears, they often disguise themselves, don't they, as rationalizations.
Yeah.
Excuses we tell ourselves.
Totally. They manifest in so many subtle ways in daily life, like hesitating to speak up or pursue an idea.
Yeah.
That can be fear of criticism.
Or constantly worrying about every little ache and pain, fear of ill health, maybe hypochondria.
Or just being excessively worried about losing money, even when things are okay. And the sources specifically warn about accepting those if-only excuses.
Ah, the if-onlys. If only I had more time, if only I had more money, if only things were different.
Right. Those are often just covers rationalizations for these deeper underlying fears that are actually stopping us from taking decisive action.
So how do we fight these ghosts?
Well, this leads to perhaps the most crucial point in the entire philosophy, according to the sources, and it's truly profound when you grasp it.
Okay.
The only thing you have absolute, total, undeniable control over is your own thoughts.
That's it. Not circumstances, not other people, just your thoughts.
Just your thoughts. Therefore, mastering your own mind by deliberately choosing positive, constructive thoughts and actively rejecting the negative, fearful ones. That is the fundamental step.
That's how you overcome these fears, how you become the master of your own destiny, essentially.
Exactly. But it requires constant effort, right? Constant self-analysis, vigilance against harmful influences, both from inside your head and from the outside world.
You have to be kind of ruthless with your own mind, challenging those negative patterns, conquering those invisible adversaries.
So wrapping this all up, what does this deep dive mean for you, our listener? This whole philosophy, this timeless system, it really isn't just about getting rich, is it?
No, not at all. It's about achieving any definite purpose you set for yourself in life, big or small.
It's about harnessing that incredible power that sits right between your ears, the power of your mind, and then consistently applying these principles day in, day out.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider the profound implication of that one core idea. The only thing you truly have absolute control over is your thoughts.
Yeah.
If you were to fully embrace that truth, what incredible potential does that unlock for you? What could you achieve if you truly mastered your own mind and refused to let any fear, internal or external, dictate your path?
That's a powerful question to ponder. What stands out to you from everything we've discussed today? What's the one idea maybe that you'll take and put into action starting right now?